Good morning, Sarah. How's your day been so far?
Good morning, Mr. Smith. My day's been pretty good, thank you. I had a really nice breakfast, and I even managed to catch the early bus for once.
That's great to hear. What did you have for breakfast?
I had pancakes with syrup and some fresh fruit. It was delicious. What about you, Mr. Smith?
I had my usual, a cup of coffee and a bagel. I need my caffeine fix to keep up with you all.
I can imagine.
So, Sarah, is there anything specific you'd like to talk about today?
Actually, yes. I've been struggling a bit with learning English, and I was hoping you could give me some advice.
Of course, Sarah. I'm here to help. Can you tell me a bit more about what you're finding difficult?
Well, I find it hard to understand when people speak quickly, and sometimes I struggle with vocabulary. Plus, grammar rules seem so complicated.
I see. You're definitely not alone in feeling that way. Many students find those aspects challenging. Let's break it down a bit. How do you usually practice listening?
I try to listen to English podcasts and watch movies, but it's hard to keep up with the speed.
That's a good start. One trick is to start with materials that have subtitles in English. That way, you can see the words as you hear them. Also, try listening to slower-paced content at first, like children's stories or news channels that cater to non-native speakers.
That makes sense. I'll give that a try. What about vocabulary? I feel like I learn a word, but then I forget it soon after.
Vocabulary can be tricky. Have you tried using flashcards or apps like Anki? They use spaced repetition, which helps you remember words over a longer period.
I haven't, but I'll look into that.
Vocabulary can be tricky. Have you tried using flashcards or apps like Anki? They use spaced repetition, which helps you remember words over a longer period.
That's a good idea. I'll start doing that. And grammar, grammar is the worst.
Yes, grammar can be tough. But don't worry, it gets easier with practice. Which grammar rules are you struggling with the most?
Tenses. There are so many of them, and I keep mixing them up.
Yes, grammar can be tough. But don't worry, it gets easier with practice. Which grammar rules are you struggling with the most?
That sounds manageable. I'll try that too.
Remember, Sarah, it's okay to make mistakes. They are part of the learning process. The important thing is to keep practicing and not get discouraged.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. I really appreciate your help and encouragement.
Anytime, Sarah. And if you ever need extra help, feel free to ask. Now, let's lighten the mood a bit. What's the funniest English word you've come across?
Oh, that's easy. It's gobbledygook. It just sounds so funny.
That's a good one. It means meaningless or nonsensical language, which ironically is what it sounds like.
Exactly. English can be so weird sometimes.
That's part of the charm, though. The more you learn, the more you'll appreciate its quirks. Keep up the good work, Sarah. You're doing great.
Thanks again, Mr. Smith. I'll keep practicing and hopefully get better soon.
That's part of the charm, though. The more you learn, the more you'll appreciate its quirks. Keep up the good work, Sarah. You're doing great.
Ready.